Good evening and welcome to the public portion of the Township Committee meeting on this, what is it, August 9th, 2022. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Um, okay. Now, we do have to add a couple of motions onto our agenda this evening. The first is a motion to extend the lease for the bus company. Also, can we add the motion to allow our administrator and our township attorney to negotiate and enter into a hold it harmless agreement and access agreement with AMC and authorize the mayor to execute?
Those are going to be non-consent agenda items, right? Just to make sure.
Yes.
No, non-consent. It's the last one,
Okay. Now can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I have a few things to call out.
Okay.
I'd like to call out the payment of bills. And I'd like to make a motion to introduce Resolution 2022-254, the resolution of Township Committee adopting rules and order of business of the Township Committee. It's basically a bylaws. I'd like to introduce, as Mrs. Ewald and Ms. Fondaco have distributed previously, to bring back the second hearing of citizens. So that would be an amendment to, well, we can get into that anyway. I'd also like to, so do I have a second on that?
This was not set out with their agenda packet. You don't
just
get
made
to
it-
just add things onto the agenda, like.
I just made a motion to add it. So is there a second?
I'd second that.
Okay, roll call?
This would be all in favor? Is it for approving the agenda? The resolution itself would be done on the non-consent agenda later on?
To add onto the agenda.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're in discussion. Now, we had a first and a second, and we're in discussion?
So do you want that as,
Whether or not you want to
Roll
add.
call.
It's just
We
whether we're
can't
gonna
vote
we're
on
gonna
that?
discuss it later.
you can vote,
Can we, no, right, can we vote? Right, so we do have to vote on it.
I'm in favor. Aye.
so are we doing? Okay, Mrs. Ewald,
Yes, I'm voting yes to add it to the agenda, correct?
yeah, Mrs. Fondaco? Mr. Lois?
Yes.
Mayor Felice?
Yes.
I'd like to make another motion to add Resolution 2022-255. That's an extension of our project and possibilities list. It's just simply adding on some of the projects and possibilities that have come up, and that specifically Boy Scouts have met with me today in order to add them to our list.
I
Is there a
don't
second
think
on
this
this?
is appropriate. I think this is wildly inappropriate.
I'm just adding a few items for our projects and
Right,
possibilities
but
list.
that's not the procedure that we operate. So, we have
There's a
not
motion
been,
and
we
a
have
second.
not.
Is there a second to that?
Okay. That's not how we operate. We submit our stuff to the clerk, he distributes it, he posts it 48 hours ahead of time. We have bylaws. We have to follow our bylaws.
I am following Robert's rules. You can
It's
introduce
not-
a motion, and that's what I'm doing. We just did it. and
I think it's
I'm
important we
adding.
have this discussion, so I'll second the motion to add this, just because I think it's important we finally make sure we're clear on what the procedures are going to be going forward.
Well, this isn't procedures. This is a new motion or a new resolution that we haven't seen up until 5 minutes ago.
Well, and that'll be part of the discussion.
Mrs. Ewald,
Yes.
Mrs. Fandacco? Mr. Lois?
Yes.
Mayor Fleece?
No.
And finally, I have the final resolution I'd like to add is a resolution on reimbursement of certification for newly certified lifeguards joining midsummer at Colony Pool. And this is supporting people that we have joined us in a lifeguard shortage, and if we don't pass it this evening, they will not be able to be reimbursed by the end of the summer for their certification. Is there a second to this?
I'll second that.
I know, I'm waiting for the mayor to call for a vote.
Oh, you can roll call.
Mrs. Ewald,
Sorry, let me just take a moment because I'm getting confused about when we're handling what.
That's why we need time to review these things, and there's no time
Yeah,
on these.
yes.
That's
This
the
is the
problem.
point where we discuss whether or not we're going to add it to the agenda.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting, because then
But
we.
see, I don't even think it should be added to the agenda because I don't think the
Yeah,
process.
I should have voted no in the last one, but I'll, just to be clear, I agree 1,000%. We just got these. They shouldn't be on the agenda. We should be getting them 2 days beforehand. The difference with the other one, 254, is that we did submit that a while ago. It was distributed a while ago. The entire committee had an opportunity to review these. This we just got. I don't even think 255 should be, and that we could discuss during that actual discussion. This one, I would say we shouldn't have it on the agenda. Not to add the resolution.
so, Mrs. Ewald, what is your vote on this one?
No.
Okay. Mrs. Fandacco? Mr. Lois?
Yes.
Mayor Fleece?
No.
Motion fails.
All
then
right,
is there
can we
any-
get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I'm gonna vote, can I get a roll call vote on this? So I just want to say, I'm gonna vote no on this agenda because it was not distributed ahead of time. And this is not the proper format of doing this, these changes, so.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mrs. Fandacco? Yes. Mr. Lois?
Well, seeing that if I vote no right now, there would be no meeting tonight,
That's not how it would be.
I will vote yes.
And Mayor Fleece?
No.
Motion passes.
Oh, Mark Hamilton is on.
He needs to learn how to come in as a panelist. I don't know why he bothers setting the panelist links anymore.
All right, so we're gonna go, is he available to vote?
I hit to promote him as a panelist. He needs to
Okay.
do it on his end now.
Did he hear the discussion about the agenda?
And that's what he's saying right now. He says he's waiting to
Here he
vote.
comes.
It was already taken, it was already done, okay. All right, so then we have to move on to recognition. Tonight we are, well, one other thing that I do want to announce is that our new administrator, Ziad Shihadi, it will be joining our planning board as a Class 2 member. Also, okay, so we are moving on to we are honoring 3 retired police officers this evening, which I am very excited to do. First, we will be recognizing Sergeant Daniel Papa upon his retirement from the Chatham Township Police Department after 25 years of distinguished service. Sergeant Daniel Papa began his career in the Chatham Township Police Department in 1997 as a police dispatcher. In 1998, Sergeant Papa attended the Morris County Police Academy and was hired as a police officer. During his years in the police department, Sergeant Papa received numerous awards, including 3 life-saving awards, 2 honorable service awards, and an exceptional duty award. He also served a tour with the Auto Theft Task Force and appeared in the A&E show Jacked. Promoted to the rank of sergeant in 2009, Sergeant Papa also served as the department's commanding firearms instructor. The Township Committee wishes Sergeant Papa the best of luck in his retirement. Would you like to come up? The next recognition we will be doing tonight is for the patrolman Michael Sawyer upon his retirement from the Chatham Township Police Department after 25 years of distinguished service. Officer Sawyer began his career in the Chatham Township Police in 1997 as a police dispatcher. In 2002, Officer Sawyer attended the Somerset County Police Academy and was hired as a police officer. During his years in the police department, Officer Sawyer received a Meritorious Service Award, 2 Honorable Service Awards, and 5 Life-Saving Awards. Officer Sawyer also served as the Juvenile Officer, Dare and Lead Instructor, Field Training Officer, TACT Officer, and Traffic Safety Officer. In 2018, Officer Sawyer was assigned as a Special Investigator with the Morris County Prosecutor's Office Vehicle Homicide Response Team. The Township Committee wishes Officer Sawyer the best of luck in his retirement. Okay, our next officer this evening that we are recognizing is for Sergeant Dave Weinert. Did I say the name? Okay. Uh, This certificate is presented to Sergeant Dave Weinert upon his retirement from the Chatham Township Police Department after 26 years of distinguished service. Sergeant Weinert began his career in the Chatham Township Police Department in 1996 as a police dispatcher. In 1997, Sergeant Weinhardt attended the Morris County Police Academy as part of the Academy's 50th basic class. During his years in the department, Sergeant Weinhardt received service awards, including 3 life-saving awards, 4 honorable service awards, and a good conduct award. Promoted to sergeant in 2019, Sergeant Weinhardt also served as a departmental firearms instructor, emergency services unit member, field training officer, and CPR instructor. The Township Committee wishes Sergeant Weinhardt the best of luck in his retirement. All right. Thank you all for all of your dedication to the town. It's so appreciative. And congratulations on your retirement. Really, really appreciate it. So, one last round of applause. All right, so we're going to go straight to reports.
Let everybody bail first.
Yeah, we'll let them.
They don't have to.
Exactly. Hmm. Oh,
Shall I get started?
yes, go ahead. Sorry, we were.
Okay, so the Senior Center of the Chathams, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that the center will be closed. Oh, I'm doing battle with the celebrations back there. The center will be closed for summer break Monday, August 22nd through Labor Day, Monday, September 5th. They will reopen on Tuesday, September 6th. In the meantime, they definitely have a packed agenda, so please do take advantage of all that they have to offer. Just to mention a few things that are important, they have free blood pressure screening on Thursday, August 18th. They are celebrating this month's birthday, so if you want some cake and a movie, that will be on August 11th, and they have other activities these next few days. September's theme is Under the Tuscan Sun, and there'll be fun things like a welcome back pizza lunch on September 8th, short story reading club, creative writing, line dancing, salsa dancing, wrapping up with travel to Italy presentation on September 14th, and dinner at Natalie's restaurant in September 14th at 5 p.m. So if you're interested in any of those programs, reach out to the Senior Center. They really have a lot of good stuff. The other one I wanted to mention is I did see they offer support for residents who want more information on Medicare, who have any questions. So please take advantage of, there are volunteers who will help you with that. So take advantage of all that they have to offer. Our water pollution control utility, they provide their report to the committee, but I just wanted to let residents know a little bit about what they're doing. In addition to their day work inspection, sample collection, analysis, the a lot of activity over at the plant. They maintain and repair various equipment, plant and pump stations to ensure proper reliable operation, including but not limited to repairing steps, cleaning out effluent well, inspecting vertical turbine pump, maintenance, repairs on compressors, inspected skimmer assemblies on final tanks, performed sanitary surface water, wastewater, and the list goes on. So they really are doing a lot over there, and they really do a phenomenal job. So I just wanted to share a little bit of what they did. The last thing I wanted to share, there is a cultural and diversity celebration of Madison and the Chathams to be held on Saturday, September 10th, from 12 to 5. There'll be multicultural entertainment, speakers, food vendors, showcase events, presentations featuring fun, creative activities as well. Started in Madison, now hosting it in their town, and hopefully we could do it in Chatham Township next year. So that's pretty much everything I have.
Thank you. Now, Committeewoman Fondaco?
Couple of reports. This is from the DPW. They completed cleaning and inspecting over 1,000 storm basins. They did basin repairs. They trimmed low branches on roads that got paved. Started back to cut vegetation on roadways with the flail mower. They started to strike crosswalks and stop signs. I don't know what stop. Don know what stop signs are? Oh, okay. Okay. That they removed dead ash trees at Shunpike Field, traffic controlled for milling and paving. They completed installation of motion lights at the Red Brick Schoolhouse, grass maintenance on rec fields and the township-owned properties. They installed new pizza oven and a flat-top grill at Colony Pool, painted fall lines on Shunpike turf, soccer field hockey, and boys and girls lacrosse, drag and stripe baseball, completed installation of a new fence by retention basin behind Shunpike turf, continued LED upgrades to traffic lights. They also installed a new historic sign at Colony Pool. Now, I just have another report from the Historical Society. I didn't bring my paper with me. Okay, here we go. This is from the Historical Society. This past Sunday, the Red Brick Schoolhouse Museum had a record number of visitors for an open day. 24 people, most of them for the first time, enjoyed learning about the remarkable history of Chatham Township. Quite a few of them had their own stories to share and promised to be back with photos and memorabilia. The historic photos from the centennial celebration of the Chatham Colony Association that were then at the museum are now on display at the municipal building. Remember, the museum is open the first Sunday of every month from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock and by appointment. And just a reminder for people to continue to contribute to the food pantry down at the borough at the St. Paul Episcopal Church across from CVS. And that's it.
Okay, Committeeman Lois?
Thank you. So Colony Pool has almost $240,000 in revenue. We're about 20% over what we have budgeted for the pool, which is great. We have about 1,700 members, a little over 1,700 members right now. The advisory committee has met and is recommending that we do our August membership again, and hopefully we'll do that so that we can add some more revenue and members to the pool this summer. For utilities, JCP&L was kind enough to meet with us. We had a meeting with them, and there's some action items that we're expecting some report back from them on, which is good, including number of circuits in our town, rebuilding of substations, and a couple of other issues that I'll be happy to report on in the future. There is a request from PSE&G about the seed mixture restoration that's going on in the right-of-way. They are looking for in writing approval for their seed mixture and exactly where they're planting. So we'll be able to, that should come before us pretty soon. That was a very recent communication with them. It is a wildflower and native plant seed mixture, and the question about it is the proximity of it, I guess the expanse of it, and how far we want it to actually go in terms of distance to the road. Then another thing is, for recreation, we meet September 8th. Communications, we did some minimal audio upgrades in this room and some rewiring. So hopefully, Mr. Carr, if you are listening, you are satisfied with the ability to hear on Zoom. That issue was resolved on broadcast, and now it has come to Zoom, that same wiring upgrade. But we are waiting for about half of our equipment still in that, in that respect. And then finally, I've been working with the fire departments on the American Rescue Plan grants, and I have requested to become the fire and rescue liaison, which is a unfilled position currently and
No,
provided
it's
for.
currently being handled by the Public Safety Department.
And the Green Village Fire Department and the Chatham Township Fire Department had both requested that I fill that position.
Well, it's being handled by the Public Safety Committee. So, all right, thank you. Deputy Mayor Hamilton, are you, did you want to give a report? Are you? No. All right, then we're going to go straight to the public hearing of citizens. Oh, sorry. I always do that. Mr. Rushke, would you have a report?
The paving is substantially complete. We still have to get another contractor in under the co-op to do the striping. So we're diligently trying to get them in. But, you know, we didn't run into any issues with the paving and appreciate all the residents, you know, being understanding and working with us with the schedule and such. So it worked out well. The county, I have not gotten feedback from the county when they're actually going to start their paving. I know they're trying to schedule a pre-construction meeting soon, and so I suspect that the paving will probably be late September, October is probably when they're going to doing the county roads. Just again reporting, we did receive bids for the municipal building roof. The bids varied pretty significantly, but there was a very tight number with the three lowest bids, and the lowest bid was $1,084,000 and change, and the high bid was 2.1. So those bids are just under review right now, and so ultimately we'll have a recommendation to the committee, you know, probably in the next meeting.
Great.
So we also went out to bid for the roof at the WPC administration building. Unfortunately, we did not receive any bids for that project. Three contractors did pick up, and I'm trying to get feedback from them regarding why they didn't submit, and we'll also have a recommendation on how we proceed with that in probably the next meeting. The tennis courts, you'll note on the resolution 2022-252 is a rejection of bids. We did only we only received one bid for the tennis courts, which was involved extensive crack repairs and also coating the tennis courts. And we also had a supplemental bid to do some work at the basketball court. But for the tennis courts, it was approximately $171,000 to do that work, which is a very substantial cost for simple repairs. You know, we're starting to get to the point where it's probably more economical just to do a complete mill and resurface and then coat, but that would add even more cost to the project. You know, with the exception of the cracks, it doesn't appear that the asphalt is you know, deteriorating to the point where so we're at a point of flux regarding what was an appropriate course of action. So I am working with the DPW. They in fact are going to purchase material to fill the cracks to at least, you know, get some activity going and you know, repair the cracks. You know, the courts, it is periodically inspected by the JIF. You know, we have not gotten any deficiencies from the JIF regarding safety issues or anything, but filling the cracks will certainly help with any safety concerns associated with that. There is no differential sediment to the cracks, so it's not like you're tripping over the cracks. They're just wide cracks. So once we have the cracks repaired, we're just going to look at trying to do just a coating of the courts versus just extensive crack repair, which means that you know, when we went out to bid, we were looking for a guarantee for a minimum of 5 years that we wouldn't see the cracks reforming. But if we just do a minimal crack repair, we will start to see hair. But at least the courts will be, you know, we'll have a nice, if we do just recoat them, they'll have a nice coat. You know, we may just have some minor cracks that really doesn't affect the play at all. So I think that's more more economical way of just extending the life of the courts a little bit further before we get to that point in time where we're looking at a mill and pave, which is just a more very substantial cost. So we'll keep the committee updated on, our efforts with the DPW and then also getting quotes to do the coding. And lastly, just note that we have been undergoing an investigation of the sanitary sewer system, looking for infiltration and inflow, and we have done quite a bit of work regarding flow monitoring and video. We are going to take the next step of doing smoke testing at very specific locations in the town. And what the smoke testing does is basically we put smoke into the sewer system, and we look for areas where it's released. And it'll show us if there's any catch basins in the road that it actually, instead of connected to the storm sewer, it's connected to the sanitary, and we want to correct those. It'll tell us if any homeowners have connected into their roof leaders into the system, because you'll see smoke coming out of gutters. If homeowners have any connections to drains or anything in their driveway, we'll see those, and there's a number of things that particularly find. So that work is scheduled to be done over the August 17th and 19th. We are putting out door hangers on tomorrow, just to let the residents know that we're going to be in their neighborhood doing the work. Most of the time, residents don't even know that it's even happening. It does happen rather quickly when they're moving from location to location. But there is a slim possibility that people may get smoke in their house associated with this. It's non-toxic, and we are coordinated and letting the police know and the fire department know of these dates and they're aware of it. It is alarming if someone gets smoke in their house, not only because of the smoke, but, and again, it's non-toxic, it doesn't have any damage, but it does alert us to the fact that of a potential, hazardous situation, because people should not be getting smoke in their house, coming from the sanitary sewer system, because that means that hazardous vapors can get in. So we want to make sure that, and the only reason why they would get smoke in their house is that they have deficient plumbing, and that's it's not sealed. And so, if we do find people if we do have any indications of anyone does get smoke in the house, it's actually not necessarily a bad thing, but we're alerting someone to a potential issue that they need to address. So hopefully it'll just be uneventful, and we get some information, and no one really knows that we're out there. So
What neighborhood, just so we can share?
it'll be posted on the website tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Well, I guess that'd be interesting to see smoke coming around, but a lot of times you don't see any smoke. They just they'll start the test, and then they just walk around looking for the smoke protruding out of the system. So it moves, like I said, it moves very quickly, and then we will be posting it on the website regarding where. And like I said, people are getting door hangers. There'll be notes on people's doors in the neighborhoods that we're testing, so people will be notified.
And how do you monitor all those houses for smoke?
Usually it's a lot of smoke that you're putting into the system, and you usually see rather quickly that you'll see if someone's on you look for the roofs, you look for any catch basins, and you walk around, and it usually is pretty evident.
So how long would it take in an area? Is it like a couple of
Usually about a half hour, they move from area to area, so it moves very quickly. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any reports from you guys?
Other than the report and executive, I have no further report.
Okay.
No further.
All right, Greg? All right, let's open the meeting up to the public. Hearing of citizens. Currently, the committee meeting room is open to the public, and we look forward to having you join us. Additionally, this meeting is made available for public participation remotely. If you're watching cable TV on Comcast Channel 29 or Fios Channel 26, you can participate in the public comment section of this meeting by dialing the phone numbers which are listed on the agenda and which are shown on your TV screen. Please dial *9 to raise your hand. If you're watching via Zoom, you may speak during the public comment session by following the Zoom instructions to raise your hand. Whether in person or online, when you are recognized to speak, please say your name, spell your last name, and give your street. As a reminder, all public comments will be limited to 5 minutes. Rather than use any of your time answering questions, we will wait until you finish speaking before responding. Each member of the public will be limited to 1 comment during the public comment period. Written comments submitted to the township clerk before 3 p.m. today will be read during the public comment sessions. Written comments are subject to the same guidelines as oral comments. Duplicative written comments may be summarized rather than read in full according to the guidelines issued by the New Jersey Division of Local Government Services. All right, do we have anybody here? Okay, you wanna line up at the microphone?
Good evening. My name is Forrest Shu from Green Village Road in Green Village. I've been over there about 26 years. A couple of years ago, Alex and Roman bought the property across the street from us and rebuilt the house there. As you know, Green Village is all septic, except for some lucky people right near Hickory Road. We looked into, as a group of 4 houses, the ability to potentially get on the sewer map, which we actually successfully did. We're now at the point of trying to get a sewer connection. And things have stalled a bit, partly because the costs are exorbitant, which whether the township helps or we did it ourselves, that doesn't change anything. But I think we wanted to come tonight to just bring the effort to your attention, because it's challenging. We've been working probably for like 3 years or more on this. And it's a very different, there's 4 families, all in very different, I can only speak for the Shu family. We had to redo our septic 11 years ago, which is not something I would wish on my worst enemy. It was a $30,000 project that turned into a $45,000 project by the time it was done. And so it's not something I'd ever want to live through again. But we just wanted to bring your attention to the effort. We've talked with Mr. Rushke and the previous, Mr. Hoffman, I think, as we've been trying to get this through, and we've been trying to get through things like appraisals to show how much it would cost with septic versus with sewer in the house, price of the house and all. But it's been a challenge. I don't know how you want to add. Alex and Roman have been doing new construction, so they're really spearheading it. Is there anything that you want to add?
So-
Yeah. What's that? Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't need to take up any more of your time, other than my one thought on a longtime resident of Green Village is that the 4 houses are in very different financial states. I'll just leave it at that and say we're doing our best as 4 homes and 4 different families to work together, but we're coming from a place where we have a working septic that hopefully will last us another 20 years or so. But we're recognizing that our neighbors that we really like are potentially in disastrous situations because, as you probably know, getting a new septic in Green Village nowadays with environmental regulations is exceptionally difficult. And so the Shu family here, sort of as one of the 4 houses to really support and go along with anything that happens. We're certainly not spearheading it because we have a really good working septic, but it's kind of where we're at. So I appreciate your time. I don't know if you have any questions for me or you want to hear from us.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Excuse me. I really appreciate you guys coming in. We have heard about it. I know I've been discussing it with our administrator and our engineer. What I would really like to do is sit down and schedule a time to meet with you guys to iron out all, to really discuss all the details. So, we can schedule that. Z, you have their emails and everything. We can schedule a time.
Yep.
Yes.
Pete,
I
did
do
you have anything else?
Yeah, this Friday, I'm available. I know it's short notice. I don't know if the administrators, but we could maybe do a pre-meeting, try to get any information, so when, the members of the committee meet, and again, there's issues, there are only 2 of you can meet.
Right.
We can get all that information before you. So I don't know, again, what your schedules are. I know that you probably work, but maybe Friday or even a Saturday or a weekend, I could do that. I don't know if you could do it.
We'll schedule something. We don't need to decide right now. We'll shoot you guys an email and figure out a time where we can just iron a lot of these things out. But thank you again for coming. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, next.
Hello, good evening. My name is Alexandra Berry, and we purchased the house, I'm sorry, 341 Green Village Road. We purchased the house 5 years ago, and at that time, we discovered that the septic was just too old to operate, and we had a dilemma what to do next if it's if the new septic would work in a situation when we had wetlands and a great swamp behind our property. So we hired a civil engineer, Mr. De Fantina, and he said that he would be able to design a drip septic system for us, but he cannot give us, the warranty that it will work because the soil is very unusable. That's what he said, in our area. And he said that it would be good to research, if there is a way of connecting to public sewer. And that's what we did. So, I started just to walk along the street and asking, neighbors if they would be interested in joining us. And three of our neighbors, closest neighbors, said that it would really help them as well because they had some issues. Two owners already had issues with their septics, and Forrest decided to join us because we already knew from Department of Environmental Protection that if they decide to agree to amend a sewer service area map, they will do it only if they will receive a group application. They will never, accept single applicants because it's time consuming. So yes, 2 years ago we received approval from them, and we started to look for different options of connection to a public sewer. We tried to ask Melrose Development if they could agree to connect us to their part of sewer, but they didn't give us approval, and so that's why we approached Mr. Roschke, asking if there is a way that we could get access to a public sewer. So we had to prepare a partial topography of Green Village Road. We had to check, all the utility lines. It was a long process. It took us, all last year. And finally, in May, we had a Zoom meeting with Mr. Hoffman and Mr. Roschke, and we just generally agreed to wait for some kind of commitment letter from the township that would outline, how if the committee would agree, to fund the project. So we were asked to prepare appraisals and a letter that would sum up all the expenses of the project. And can we ask direct questions during the?
You can ask questions.
Yes, I just would like to ask, if the township attorney is present today.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've been waiting for the commitment letter from the township, and we were just wondering, if when we could see it.
Wait.
There's
Hold
a
on,
whole
hold on. We have
process,
to-
and
we have
that's
to go-
why-
Wait, are you done? Is there any other questions or anything? Because we have to, the way we have to do it is, you have to finish and then we can respond.
I see.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, are you done for, is there anything else that you wanted to add, or is that your only question?
We're just not sure, how much the committee knows about the project,
Mm-hmm.
and, at what level we are, because we are concerned we basically have all the costs ready. We were able to gather several estimates from different excavators. So we were getting prices between $35,000 to $60,000 per household. So those quotes are valid for about, let's say, 1 month or 2 months. And we were just wondering if it would be possible, to close this project by the end of this year. Because if we cannot do it, then, all the documents that we were able to gather just won't be valid anymore in next year.
Right.
The thing is that we know from the Morris County, the Green Village Road is a county road, and it will be closed at the end of November. So if we are not able to finish the project by the end of November, then we'll have to wait until April of next year. So we are not sure, in this present situation, what will happen, where we'll be with the inflation and the prices. Yes. So we have, there are many questions that we have, that we would like to discuss.
Okay. So, did you want,
So there's a process. I haven't seen any of the documents, and that's why I had suggested that we meet with the homeowners, myself and the administrator, and probably the engineer to meet with you to put that into a package so we can evaluate it and recommend or make a recommendation to the governing body. All right? I'm available Friday. And the administrators. John, we could call you, or,
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're more intimately, you have more knowledge of this since you've been negotiating.
well, can we, email? We don't have to, take everybody's time to, figure out a specific time, but can we shoot you guys an email and figure out a time that works for everybody so that we can iron it out? Perfect. Thank you. Next.
Hello, my name is Dan Flynn. I live on Edgewood Road in Chatham Township. And at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, someone attempted to steal our car out of our driveway in broad daylight while my wife and son were home. This is at least the second time that this has happened. Edgewood is a loop street. It's on Edgewood, right by Lenape, which is a loop street, where something similar happened while children were in the driveway right across the street. And this is a huge problem that I certainly feel this is a safe town, comparatively speaking, but from when I moved here in 2017, it's not just Chatham, it's across the state, across the country. Crime is on the rise, and I'm just curious what the committee is doing about this. It's terrifying to think, and this is coming from speaking to police officers, that some of these individuals might be gang members who have firearms on them and are driving around our streets while our children are out there. And I'm just curious what you guys are doing about it. I'm not blaming anyone for it. It's certainly not your problem, but as committee members, I'm just curious what you are doing about it, what you think you might be able to do about it here in the town, if anything, and if it's possible to push pressure up towards Trenton. It takes people standing up and saying something. And I, as a citizen, don't feel I have that power, but maybe as the mayor and committee members of Chatham Township, there's something you can do to put pressure on the state to address the issue, because everybody I talk to basically says the same thing. Well, they're sending teenagers out there, so they just get off. There's no cash bail now, so that's an issue. And if they steal something out of your car and it's less than $500, they don't do anything about it. I don't care about what was stolen out of my car. I care that, what if there's an altercation? Someone encounters one of these people in our town and something tragic happens. I'm just curious what you're doing about it.
No, I really appreciate you coming in and bringing this to our attention. Of course, we are well aware of the situation, and it's scary. It really is. Public safety has been our number one priority of this committee. What we have done already is, we have fully given the police officers every single item that they possibly need. We are getting them new cars this year. Additionally, we have been putting in surveillance cameras and license plate readers throughout the town. We're also in the process and hopefully going to get a federal grant that will allow these cameras to alert our police officers in real time when something bad occurs, when a bad guy comes into town, so they can preempt it. Our police officers' hands a lot of times tend to be tied, as you've recognized. What we have been doing is supporting them. We've been doing everything we possibly can to remind every single person out there we can't have Chatham as a target. And right now, we are a targeted town. They know Chatham has expensive cars and they target us. I believe we've been lucky where we've only gotten one car stolen, I believe, I'm not positive. The chief just left, otherwise I would have asked him, this year, but I know Chatham Borough has had a lot, and all of our neighboring towns have a lot. So we are targeted. What we can do is really put on pressure. Number one, everybody's gotta start locking their car doors. At all times, locking their doors, making sure their key fobs are with them. That is the number one most important thing that everybody can do, that you have control over.
That's true, but that's not the root of the problem.
I understand, but I'm telling you, that is the one thing that we can remind everyone and put forth effort. The root of the problem, like you acknowledged, is up at Trenton. I don't know what we can do as Trenton other than request. I can say I'm in support. There is a bill, I believe, that's being written right now by Senator Bucco on this issue. I can tell you 100% I'm in support of that bill. But I don't know what more. I don't know.
One other thing we haven't talked about to consider, the borough, Madison and Chatham Borough did see some success with a reverse.
We have that. We've had that in place all year.
I haven't gotten any calls.
Yeah,
Notification to say that
I've
there
talked to the
is,
chief about it. Yeah, we have had that in place for the past year. I don't want to speak for him, but I have talked to, we have it actually in place for emergencies, and he uses it very sporadically, for emergencies.
Oh, yeah, no, I know we have reverse, but the notion of using it if there's actors in the community who are stealing cars. So literally, the borough will send out
Right.
a notification saying,
Honestly,
people are in
the-
town.
The problem is it's happening at all hours of the day. Literally, it doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning. It's all hours of the day on every single street they're coming to. It's like, it's not one specific street, and I understand your street, it has been targeted because it is a loop. It's going everywhere, the whole town, the entire area. I've been on numerous phone calls with other mayors and around the area and their police chiefs as well, trying to brainstorm ideas of what we could possibly do to solve it. And the best thing that they've all come up with is honestly the license plate readers that we're putting in everywhere. And number two is the pressure, just getting the message out again about locking the car doors.
I mean, there are strength in numbers. Could you, collectively with other mayors and other police chiefs, write a signed letter that goes to Trenton?
Yeah, we can work on something like that. Yes.
I mean, that's why I'm here. That's
Yes.
what I think would be.
I've discussed, I've brainstormed with other with other mayors and police chiefs as well, about just various things. I don't know how far, we just want immediate action has been our issue. We just want immediate,
I was with Mr. Flynn after this happened, unfortunately, and in your case, Mr. Flynn, I believe that your wife had just finished unloading groceries, and the car was unlocked, and that was because she had just come inside. So there are circumstances where even the lock your car message is going to be
I mean, my daughter
difficult,
goes in the
if
car
not-
to get gum and doesn't lock the car, so.
I understand.
I mean, I could speak to that. I'm not
Yeah.
an expert. From what recently the Attorney General in the state of New
Yeah,
Jersey said you
can't.
can, but when I spoke to the officer on scene, he told me there's so many variables involved.
We can't.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming in because I do think more light needs to be brought on this issue and anything that we could possibly do to continue putting bringing light onto it is, I think is positive.
Hi, how
Hi.
are you folks? My name is Lawrence Larson, Larson. I reside on 30 Edgewood Road in Chatham. My house resides not just in the borough, but it resides in the township. And I'm here just to talk about three very specific things. Directly after you folks resurfaced Edgewood Road, the neighborhood had a serious issue with water going into a lot of our basements. Not just my home, which actually after Ida, I faced 5 different times when my house was flooded. My neighbor's house was flooded a couple times, as well as a few others. I am absolutely certain that part of the reason that's happening is because the road is not pitched properly. I brought this to the attention of the township of the borough probably a week or so afterwards when I saw the work being completed. And I said, listen, I think you got a problem with the pitch of the road. And sure enough, I was right. The minute Ida took place, everybody had the issue. I had never had an issue until that particular time in my house, and I've been living there for 21 years. So that's a real big deal to me. We need to get the borough and the township to work together on this. It can't be a township issue. It can't be a borough issue. We have to work together because this is what affects the value of the homes in the area. You continually have houses that are getting flooded. What's going to happen is the insurance company, specifically mine right now, will start paying attention to that and say, you know what, you're in a flood zone. So what do you think happens there? Your house gets devalued immediately. That's unacceptable to me. I don't want to see that happen. I'd like to see you guys, the borough and the township, get together and review this in detail. I have called the township and borough myself. I've spoken to Robert Hoffman many, many times. Unfortunately, he's not here anymore. I've reached out to John Rusky about this, and I've gotten a little bit of information, but nothing that really satisfies me. In addition to more water in all these yards, what's happening is that every curb on our streets have gone from pretty much 6 inches to 2 inches. Mine went to 6 inches to 1.5 inches. So what do you think happens when a big rainstorm comes because of the pitch? All the water goes in my yard. We all know the rules on that. Water is not supposed to go in people's property. It's going all over my property. That's unacceptable to me. The other thing that I don't really understand is why the township and the borough don't work together to ensure there's some consistency on, for example, the curbs. We all know that the traditional way to do Belgian curbs properly is to utilize Belgian blocks. It's not asphalt. Asphalt doesn't work properly. You have to maintain it every year or so. When the snowplows come by, it gets completely chewed up, and it looks horrible. And if you look at my street, for example, you'll see right across from my house in the township, all Belgian block. My house, which is in the township, part of it's in the township, is part Belgian block, part concrete with pebbles, and part asphalt. Would any of you guys want to live like that? Wouldn't you want to see a little consistency in that? That lowers the value of the home. We all know that asphalt traditionally is not the way to go. That's why you'll never see on a commercial job site asphalt. You'll see Belgian blocks because it's maintenance-free and it looks good. The last thing, I guess the last thing is builders. What's going on with some of these builders? They are taking down these beautiful, causing even more water issues. It's exacerbating the problem that we're all having. If you go on Road 10, you'll see that they took down all those trees. So what's happening is all of us from Edgewood Road and from Chatham Street are getting that all that water, more of that water coming from to our houses. That's not right either. So how are these guys getting away with it? Who's talking to these builders? What's being done about that? These are 200-year-old trees, man. These trees hold up hundreds of gallons of water. They protect our property. They protect our environment. If we continue to do this, it's just gonna hurt a lot of you. So you're gonna see value just plop right down. And I'm just hoping that both the borough and the township take the responsibility to work together, because this is what I'm seeing. It's you. It's you. I want to see you guys get together. I don't want to see any more of this garbage where, oh, it's your, okay. I feel like I'm that show, I forget what show it is. But anyway, I hope that everybody can get together and put that together, because I think it helps all of us in the long run, because we want to retain the value of the street.
Thank you. So,
No, thank you for your time.
of course, regarding this, I have to refer to our professionals. I know this has been a topic that we've discussed in the past.
Mayor, I will review this with the engineer and report back to you.
Thank you. Much
I
appreciated.
would ask when you're looking at that, I mean, this is going on for a while, and it's terrible.
It's been
because-
going on for
Yeah, they have to fear the next one. So I appreciate you taking steps to address it. I do want to know this notion of the Belgian block. I was surprised that asphalt is standard, because there's Belgian block on my street and there's Belgian block on most of the streets in town. So I guess what would we need to do to upgrade the standard in town?
I will, again, that committee, I'll review that, just being new to the township myself, review what traditionally has been done. I know Mr. Rushki's been here pretty much as an institution as the engineer, so I will consult with him on, traditional policies, and if there is a recommendation to change policies, what that would look like for you, as well as costs. I do know in a lot of other municipalities, though, typically municipalities will replace what's in kind, or have a policy that homeowners are responsible for any upgrades or other improvements for their curbing, and either pay for it themselves or look at the option of a special assessment. So I'll take all these into consideration with the engineer and report back to all of you.
Thank you.
John, they did
All right.
say institution, not dinosaur, so that was a compliment.
Do we have anybody else? All right, do we have anybody on Zoom? Sorry, Greg. Mr. LaConte? Do we have anybody on Zoom? Thank you. Okay. Brad, are you there?
Yes, I am. Brad Cheney, Green Village Road. Just wanted to thank you all for taking the time to meet with us later this week and hear our concerns for putting in an environmental and economically sound sewer system into our houses and listen us out on that. So appreciate that and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else?
Hello.
Jen?
Hi, yeah, it's Jen McNally at 100 Noe Avenue. Thanks, Greg. Just had a quick thing. Stuart Carr didn't pop on about the AV, so I know how he feels about it. It's been very hard to hear tonight. It's gone in and out and in and out, and the video is very fuzzy. It's very hard to see everyone, and it's been very hard to hear people completely. So just to give you that feedback, Stuart, if you're listening, feel free to pipe in. And I just had two questions. We've got resolutions on the agenda that will be discussed after this open hearing of citizens. Rejection of bids. Are we going to hear about what bids were rejected for what projects? There's an appointment of an insurance commissioner. I'm not familiar with that. Is that a new position here? What is that all about? And we're appointing an affordable housing liaison, which I thought had taken place in January, but I guess that's not the case. So that's my first question there. And then I can't hear you. Hold on. What was that?
Crank her up. Can we crank up the volume?
Jen, speak up.
Speak up, please, Jen.
Yeah, so yeah, this is the problem is I've muted myself so I don't echo, but there's definitely an issue back and forth tonight with the AV. So my questions again were about the resolutions on the agenda for tonight. The rejection of bids. Are we going to hear about what bids were rejected for what projects? The appointment of an insurance commissioner. Not familiar with that, what that's all about. And then appointment of the Affordable Housing Liaison. I thought that had taken place in January. And what is that position about as well? And the other question is, are we going to add back the second hearing of citizens? It was requested back in the beginning of the year. We were going to look at our bylaws. And I know that's been something that's come up from not just me at the meetings, but from other people as well. So I think that'd be very much appreciated by the community. And I think that's it for now. Hopefully you can hear me.
Thank you very much. All right, we are closing the hearing of citizens, and we are moving on to the introduction of ordinances. So can,
Are we gonna address those? Because I think that's reasonable. Somebody has questions about stuff in there.
Well,
when we discuss them,
Um,
there's no need to like do it
So we'll
twice.
discuss it when we get to the consent agenda.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we're moving on to the introduction of ordinances. Can I get a motion to introduce ordinance 2022-10, number of plans required for submittal of land use applications?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, can I get a roll call vote?
I'd like discussion, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Although I called for a roll, what's the,
well, you called for a vote, so I'll call the vote.
okay.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mrs. Fundaco? Mr. Lois?
No.
Mayor Fleece?
Yes,
Motion passes. Public hearing will be on September the, it's the 13th? Yeah, 13th.
Is Mr. Hamilton back out? Is he not
he,
voting?
Mr. Hamilton, are you there?
are you voting? Sorry. I think he's in and out.
Yes, I'm here, and I vote
And,
yes.
Sorry, I forgot you were there. What's your vote on the motion?
Yes.
Okay. So motion still passes and public hearing on September 13th. And this will be referred to the planning board for master plan consistency review.
Great. All right, so now we've pulled out, I know the payment of bills. Was there anything else that was pulled out?
Just that one.
All right, so can I get a motion to approve all the other items except for the payment of bills on the consent agenda?
So moved.
We just owe Ms. McNally some discussion.
Okay,
After we get the second.
is there a second? All right, what other, so was we're in regards to,
The,
yeah, go for it.
So just to clarify, the Insurance Fund Commissioner and Affordable Housing Liaison, that is correct. Typically, they're done at the beginning of the year. The prior administrator filled those positions because of his resignation. Those are now vacant. And so as a formality, the administrator serves in that capacity. Unless you choose to designate someone else, they are not additional stipends. So that addresses 248 and 249. And as for the rejection of bids, 252, I believe the resolution speaks for itself. It is published on the website. That is rejecting bids concerning the recent advertisement for the Colony tennis courts and the Shunpike basketball court that Mr. Rushke spoke about.
Yes,
Great.
Mr. Rushie spoke about that was, the bid was very high, so it has to be revisited and consideration given replaced instead of with him.
Correct.
Yes, okay.
All right, can we get a roll call?
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mrs. Fundaco?
Yes.
Mr. Lois?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Fleece?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2022-238, payment of bills?
So moved.
Is there a second? And what discussion?
Yeah, I just, I wanted to know how, with the payment of bills, how these bills are, if they're called out and excluded, as they have been in previous sessions, once those bills have been reviewed and discussed and modified, how then are they approved? Because it seems to me that the payment of bills is completely approved and, by committee, but then the items that are called out are not completely approved by committee. So I wanted to know when that would happen.
So if a bill's pulled off, if one of you want to pull off a certain bill, it's no different than when we talk about the resolutions on the agenda. So there's a vote. I don't know that, did we ever pull something off and not approve it? I think there were a number of yours, correct?
There were, and there was also issues of rebilling and that were potentially not going to be paid. And I worry about it, not so much with this exact payment. Ask this question separately and privately, and I haven't gotten a direct answer on it.
And then it
I want-
should then go back on the next bill list once it's satisfied. I think all those issues that you raised have been resolved satisfactory to you.
They are absolutely satisfactory to me, and I'm not
So
not
then-
at all questioning the work or what's been done there. It's just that going forward in a practical matter, I wouldn't want to see something, whether I be in the minority or the majority, I wouldn't want to see an item that there was questions on that then just, gets resolved in a way that's not favorable to
So then,
a vote.
if it's pulled off, then it's resolved, it should go back on the next bill list. I think we had the discussion, there are some things that you have to approve them, maybe subject to, but they have to be approved. Usually in municipal government, it's not, unless it's maybe a court-ordered payment or something, usually there's time. So I think in the instances that we've had here, those types of bills that were pulled off could carry another 30 days and then be put back on the next bill list or on the next meeting when we have our two meetings a month, That would be the appropriate one.
Thank you, that's all.
All right, can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mrs. Fundaco? Mr. Lois?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Felice?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so I guess the next one is the motion to extend the lease for the bus company. Can I get a motion to adopt or approve?
So moved.
No second.
Is there a roll call?
Mrs. Ewald?
We're not having discussion because
Oh, is there a
residents
discussion?
don't
Oh,
know nothing
sorry.
about this.
I apologize.
I
Sorry.
think we should have somebody share what it's
I-
about.
So
This is just the
This
bus
is a
company, but-
resolution, that the bus company had a 3-month lease. We extended it for 1 month. Now they're asking for a second extension of the original lease. So it's under the same terms. It would be $5,000. It's just for the parking lot, same number of buses.
So is this going to be done as a motion or as a resolution?
It would be we can do it, you can do it as a resolution. I can draft up the resolution and have it signed. So,
Okay, then I'll put that as
Either one.
Resolution 256.
yes.
And have we confirmed that there's no complications with the development that's going on there, the remediation, environmental remediation? program?
Yes, I've had no issues, no one's contacted me. As far as I understand, it's
Well,
not going to be.
Mrs. Del Duca's contacted Mr. Shoddy, so that's why, because they need to move forward with the work they have to do there. That's why I'm asking
Okay,
if we
now-
confirm that those things can happen at the same time.
I'll confirm that.
Okay, so our approval will be contingent on you confirming that it's not complicating that
No.
project, okay?
Okay, can I get a motion to?
So we have the
adopt?
motion.
Oh, okay, so get a roll call?
Sure. Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mrs. Fundaco? Mr. Lois?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
He says he's on, he dropped off and needs you to re-add him, but he seems on.
He's on there. He's there as a panelist. I see him there as a panelist.
Yeah, so he should be able to speak.
So, Mark, if you can hear us, you're already a panelist. We just need you to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And Mayor Felice.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so next is, this is a new one. This is motion to allow the administrator and our township attorney to negotiate and enter
Access.
an access.
Agreement and a whole promise agreement.
I'll let you discuss it.
Whole promise agreement, between the township and AMC.
Okay, so AMC has reached out to us about you potentially using the, municipal property, to film some TV show for a couple of days. And so we are authorizing our administrator and our attorney to discuss it and to negotiate an agreement, and hopefully we are able to negotiate an agreement. But since time is of the essence there, we wanted to give them that approval.
And it's also subject to the mayor's execution.
Yes. All right, can I get a motion to approve? Adopt?
So moved.
Second? All right, can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mrs. Fundaco?
Yes.
Mr. Lois?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Felice?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, I think, that's all I got. Greg,
Well,
is
then
there?
we also have 254, which would be the bylaws, the second hearing, updating the bylaws to add that.
Would that be, oh, that was never numbered before, okay. So see,
Well,
that
it's a-
would be-
it was-
That was the draft that was circulated at the beginning of the summer.
Okay, yeah, that was just added at the,
Yes, yes.
or beginning of the meeting.
What is the amendment?
I haven't seen it. I got an email 3 months ago, but I haven't had a chance to review this. You can't,
If
I
some-
can't do
Just,
that
I
right
think
here.
for the record, for the public.
For the
if someone
record,
could
yeah.
just,
Oh,
read
sure.
that into.
So
No,
resolution.
we're not bringing this
Well,
all into the public right now.
Just the change.
Resolution 2022-254 is a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Chatham adopting rules and order of business of the Township Committee. The change is only to Article 4 and number 16, and also Section 3.
Point of order, committee member Lois. I feel compelled to.
The sound's coming out. Mark, the sound's cutting out. Hold on.
In here, if I could, please. May I be heard, Madam Mayor and/or Mr.
Absolutely.
King?
Just give us 1 second. The sound's not working properly. I
Is
don't
this
know.
Hold on 1 second.
There's been a lot of complaints about the sound quality this evening, is what I'm hearing. Is there a way you can fix it? Anyone, Lois?
I can't fix Mark Hamilton's cell phone.
No. I've been told multiple times this evening that the sound quality is subpar than normal. So I was just asking if you could fix that. I know.
I think it's the cell phone that's cutting out.
It's a
rather
cell
than
phone?
our issue.
All right, Mark, we'll try it again. Mark?
He's muted.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton, can you unmute?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm at.
Yeah, it's cutting out again.
Okay, let me make everybody's life easier, okay? If there's a commitment to address this at the first September meeting, then let's defer it till the first September meeting instead of playing these games, okay?
You guys are playing games.
I understand and I appreciate that you want an opportunity to review it.
I
But
have-
let's agree to put it on the agenda, because otherwise I'm gonna. Forward.
Did to correct it myself.
All right. Whatever you guys want.
All right, Mr. Lewis, can you finish reading that for us? Amendment?
It's an amendment to the bylaws. This
Yeah.
is for the public's purposes. This is an amendment to the bylaws. It's adding back the second hearing of citizens. And what this does is it updates Section A, hearing of citizens, to read the following. A, during the first hearing of citizens on the agenda. And it also adds in number 16 in the order of business, which just simply says, second hearing of citizens.
All right.
There's no other
So
adjustment.
why don't we? since
Can I
we're
be heard
back
now?
to-
Any
Yes,
better?
we can hear you.
All right, sorry, I was doing a little technical support there behind the scenes. Can I be heard? Everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Well, I just wanted to jump in there, and obviously I was having difficulty logging in, when this came up completely improperly at the beginning of this meeting, from what I understand, as far as the amendment of the agenda. But just want to state for the record, be recorded in the minutes for the people watching at home, that I'm in the midst of a multi-day drive to drop my eldest daughter off at college. I made it clear that I was not going to be able to attend this meeting tonight. I checked in with the mayor at 6 p.m. tonight to confirm exactly what was on the agenda and whether or not there was anything new or unknown or particularly something that needed to be involved in. I had received final confirmation package via email from the clerk about what was going to be on the agenda tonight. And then, I found out about this out here on the road. And the way this was done is completely improper. I totally and completely object to this, stridently object to this in the strongest possible terms. And it sounds like something was being talked about. Well, I was having some technical problems. I don't know what, but I just want to make sure that it's perfectly clear that this item was not on the agenda 5 minutes before this meeting. I never this item or any of these other items regard to the substance of the item. The process and the way in which this was done is just wrong, is in itself a violation of our bylaws as far as I'm concerned. And obviously, I object to these matters being on the agenda. I'm personally affronted by having to have been dragged into this in this manner, although I understand that it's my commitment as a public servant. These things happen, but this is not proper. It's not something that was appropriately done, and I object to it, and I intend on voting no if there is a vote taken, but I do not agree with this procedure at all.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. What I
would move to carry this to the next meeting, because I would not want to be in your position, and everybody knows that Committeewoman Fondaco and I support adding a second hearing. We introduced this amendment earlier in the summer, and I appreciate Mr. Lois trying to see that through, but I'm not going to shackle people, I wouldn't want that to be done to me. So out of respect for the two members who aren't familiar with the resolution, I would motion to carry this to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second. Can I second? Thank you, Stacy. All right, what was the other?
Do we need to vote on that?
Do we need to vote on it?
So the motion is to carry
Carrie.
Mrs. Ewald?
I have not had any point in this discussion, and I need, by Robert's rules, I get at least one. The reason why I put this as on the agenda the same way that the previous two resolutions were put on the agenda, so this is not done improperly. It's done because by OPMA law, by OPMA rules, it's the agenda has to be listed as is known. Okay, this was not known because I had no confirmation back about my desire to have this on the agenda. Now, this, we promised to do this, to have this second hearing of citizens resolved at the same time as the Affordable Housing Committee was supposed to be created in the bylaws. I understand that our attorney for that is maybe not
Currently has
available.
COVID
Right,
and
not
is-
available, and that's understandable, and so we can't update the bylaws in that manner. But I think we owe it to the public to add back the second hearing of citizens as we said we would. And so I am going to do what I maintain to the public, and that's why I introduced that this evening. It is not in any way to be improper, to do anything improper. And neither was the bus resolution improper, and neither was the resolution to, for filming on municipal property. Those were both added in as well, and they're not improper.
All right.
This is not
Well,
improper.
we're going to go to a vote.
Well, the vote is
We're
on a
going
motion to
vote.
carry.
No, right.
Mrs.
and we're
Ewald?
voting.
Yes.
Mrs. Fondaco? Mr. Lois,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton,
Yes.
and Mayor Felice.
Yes.
Okay, so that'll go on the September agenda.
All right, well, what I do want to, this was very improper. These, you don't get to, like, that's not how our bylaws work. We have a process, and this was not done by that process, so. All right, what was the other resolution?
255 was the swimming pool, the lifeguards getting,
No, that one did
Reimbursement.
not make the agenda. The one that is 255 is the additions to the projects and possibilities list.
okay.
And that's just simply to update the projects and possibilities list with the items that were frankly on a technical error were not included initially when it was created, and which were presented to a group of Cub Scouts today who are interested in taking on some of these possibilities. That's all it is.
Before we discuss it, could I just ask the administrator, could you add back for the next meeting, that 2022-257, about there's no, we didn't vote on it, we just didn't put it on today's agenda. So let's add it to the next agenda.
Again, I have not had time to read this or to even acknowledge it. When we decided to put forth a list, we said it was going to take some time to create. We asked multiple people to opine on this. From my understanding, you're the only person who has really opined on this or have done any research on what we should have done. I don't feel comfortable having this on our agenda this evening, and that's what I wanted to say.
But Mayor, you asked me to meet with the Cub Scouts, and I emailed you
That's
this
not true.
exact update, and
That's not true. I never,
you have seen all of this in advance.
that both of those things are not true. So,
My recollection that we were going to reach out to various different groups and get input,
Yeah.
Cub Scouts being one of them. And
but that's one group, and I said we were going to discuss it all and not just have someone thrown at us minutes before our township committee meeting. So, all right. Is there a motion to adopt this?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, the motion dies.
I would just ask again, our
Yeah.
administrator, if you can collect, these plus other recommendations. This is not a rejection of what the Cub
Correct.
Scouts want to do. So we just want to make sure that we're involving the community on what the priorities are and what the list looks like, and other, specialty groups, so.
Yes, and I believe I have talked with you about including, like our senior center, what their needs are, what our fire department's needs are, what our DPW's needs are, anything else, any other ideas, that we can come up with for this list. So,
If I can ask that any such resolutions be emailed to me in Word in advance of the meeting so they can be formatted and distributed properly?
I wholeheartedly agree. All right, looks like we are done. There's no executive session this evening. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And an all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and have a good evening, everybody.